Clippers Miami Heat Jazz deal was very interesting. I think there was two clear winners. The Jazz, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have so many white bigs now. They have so many white players that could play the 4 and the 5. Kevin Love now, add him to the mix. They're probably going to do a buyout for him. But it just shows you that this Utah Jazz team is just tanking. They're just trying to get AJ DeBonsa. This is all a setup to get AJ DeBonsa. This is a guy that played high school at Utah Prep. This is a guy that's going to BYU. He's just set up to play with the Utah Jazz and be their star moving forward. They're tanking for him. And Lauri Markkanen, that's a guy who, the season before last season was a star, averaging 24 a game, was an all-star. Somebody that had great trade value. After the season he had last year, his value is down the toilet. The Utah Jazz really got much of nothing for John Collins, Jordan Clarkson, and Colin Sexton. So they really had poor asset management with those guys that pretty much had some really good value before, this offseason. Those guys, they could have moved quite a long time ago and got great value for them, but now they're getting rid of them for less than nothing. So poor asset management by Danny Ainge. I get, you're letting the youth movement, move out to the forefront, building around, Ace Bailey, Walter Clayton, Keontae George. You're building around those guys. Okay, cool. But get some damn value. Get the right value for some of those guys. Lauri Markkanen, like I said, could be on his way out soon. And yeah, they could just be tanking for DeBonsa. Wouldn't blame them, but wish they would have got more value for them. So they're a big loser in this trade. Miami Heat get Norman Powell, a good scorer to take the pressure off Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, Davion Mitchell, Khalil Ware. That's a nice starting five. Andrew Wiggins off the bench. You're cooking with that with the East. You'll probably be the 7th or 6th best team in the East. But that's still a team that's dangerous. With the Miami Heat culture, that's dangerous. Norman Powell was averaging 24 points a game, shooting 43% from 3. Like, he was playing at an all-star level. Should have been an all-star. But with him moving on from the Clippers, he was playing great with Kawhi, rehabbing, with Kawhi out of the lineup. But once Kawhi and Harden got back into the lineup and those guys were healthy, he really lost his fit. He really lost, the offensive production he was putting up. So it makes sense moving off of him. But the Miami Heat, getting rid of Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson, two guys that were DMPs for you, great value, insane value. Now the Heat have a star that they can have on this team. And like I said, they're a dangerous 7-6 seed now instead of a playing team. Big improvement, I guess. I think in Miami, he could be a 20 points per game scorer. So just adding a high volume scorer, a star, a guy that could be an all-star caliber player. I think he's going to get more looks in Miami. He's going to be able to be the scorer we saw from him last season. So yeah, Miami is a great landing spot for him. Miami should be happy getting a player like that at that value. Now the Clippers getting John Collins. They have a guy that could stretch the floor, could be a lob threat. Not the best defensive guy, but he has great size, could be a better defender with the Clippers. In Utah, he'll probably get cooked, but with great defenders around him, with Zubac, Brook Lopez, yeah, he's going to be a really nice addition to the front court. And on the Clippers side of things, you get a guy that's on the last year of his deal. You're not, he's going to be a free agent after this season. You don't have to worry about, the situation with Norman Powell, where you're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to work on a deal for him. He wanted a deal, and he played to a level that he should deserve a deal. Take the pressure off that, and he fits in this team better. Now, trading Norman Powell was probably tough. He literally, in playoff runs, was the guy, was the offense for you, because Kawhi was never healthy. Paul George was hurt. So he gave a lot to the Clippers. I think he scored more playoff points for the Clippers than, all the Clippers stars in the last couple of years. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. But I think John Collins is going to be a huge addition because he can provide you scoring points, scoring punch. He, it could be a 40% three-point shooter, huge lob threat. With James Harden, he's going to have a career year as a three-point shooter, a career year points per game. Like, he's going to be really effective with Harden. Harden is going to help him reach new heights he hasn't been yet in his career. This is the exact power forward that the Clippers been needing. Kawhi Leonard could play the 3 now because you have him at the 4. That's, Kawhi's more desired position. So this is a home run get for the Clippers, especially for the value. especially not having to give up too much. Obviously, Norman Powell, this was somebody that you were kind of willing to give up. So I think this move makes a lot of sense. Excited for the Clippers getting their power forward. Think this was a great move. You don't move off of Norman Powell unless you know you're getting Bradley Beal. He is going to get bought out from the Phoenix Suns. So I think it's just the writings on the wall. Once he gets bought out, he's going to sign with the Clippers as soon as he gets out of that contract with Phoenix. And this is the exact situation Bradley Beal could thrive in. Obviously, he's not the best defender, but in Phoenix, he had to defend because there was just so many other defensive liabilities on that team. He had to be a better defender. He had to be a better defender on the perimeter, especially too. With the Clippers, he has great defenders all around him. So he's not asked and tasked with being a great defender or even a good defender. He could be a 20 points per game scorer too, next to Harden, next to Kawhi. Obviously, Kawhi is going to miss time. We know he's going to miss time. So when Bradley Beal needs to pick up that slack, he very much can. He's still a bucket. Offensively, he's still great. He averaged 18 points per game, shot 41% from three, 60% true shooting in Phoenix. Like, he's still a great offensive player. That's great production from your third star. There's no question about the score and the offensive player he is. Can you deal with, him as a defender? Can you deal with what he's not good at? And the Clippers could use his strengths and they can, deal with what he is as a defender because they have so many great defenders and this is a great defensive team. So I think, the Clippers is the best possible landing spot for Bradley Beal, and I think he's going to be great in LA. Shot 50% from the field too. Great mid-range shooter still. Great pull-up shooter. Can catch and shoot. So he's going to fit in very well. He's going to replace Norman Powell very well. It's going to be a smooth transition. That was the one thing the Phoenix Suns were missing. They were just missing those grinders, those athletic defenders. They didn't have any of that. They didn't have it to the level that the Clippers are about to have it. So, they can mask what Bradley Beal is terrible at. They can mask the defensive liability Bradley Beal can be at times because they're so great in other areas. They just need that scoring punch. They need that scoring two-guard. Bradley Beal, Clippers, it's a perfect match. With trading Norman Powell, cutting Jordan Miller too, they could sign Bradley Beal and sign Chris Paul. Now, Lawrence Frank, he said that they addressed the front court. Now they need playmaking. They need scoring. The scoring is with Bradley Beal. The playmaking is now with a guy like Chris Paul, a veteran who said he's going to retire after this season. This season's likely his last season. So why not go back to LA? Somewhere where your jersey's going to be retired. One last dance, one last hoorah. Go to the Clippers, be exactly what they need off the bench. 82 games last season with the Spurs. Average 8.8 points per game in like 25 minutes, I think. He could be a huge veteran presence on this team. Him and James Harden have already won. This was a team that could have took down the Golden State Warriors in Houston if he didn't get hurt. So he's the exact piece that the Clippers need. That veteran, that leader, that guy that's desperate for a championship, that dog that the Clippers haven't had in quite some time. They haven't had a guy like that. A vocal guy, kind of a coach on the team. Harden is a good leader. Kawhi is more lead by example guy. They need a guy like Chris Paul. So John Collins, great move. Brook Lopez, great move. Bradley Beal is the next move that is most likely going to happen. But Chris Paul would be the icing on the cake, that, cherry on top of the shake. These are moves that will help the Clippers win a championship with this, duo Harden and Kawhi. Now, Lawrence Frank's done a great job positioning the Clippers to win a championship these next two seasons, but also in 2026, 2027, they have flexibility, they have cap space, 60 mil for 2026, and 2027, they have availability, they have cap space to go get the top free agents in 2027. So Lawrence Frank doing a great job out there, one of the best in the NBA right now. So I'm hyped for the Clippers. I think they're coming out on top. This is a team that's having one of the better off seasons in the NBA out of all the teams. If they get Chris Paul and Bradley Beal, they're a top 3 team in the West. Regardless, they bring in Bradley Beal, this is a top 3 team in the West. And this is a team that gives the Thunder probably the toughest issues. Gives the Thunder nightmares. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.